Hello everybody. Today we'll be driving a 2021 Audi A4. This body style came with the 2020 model year refresh where they introduced the B9 generation of A4. Although this is a 2021, not much has changed in the model year since then. With 2021, Audi simplified the powertrain options a little bit and added a 12-volt mild hybrid system. That mild hybrid system helps a little bit with the auto start-stop and kind of filling in gaps in the torque. But this one we're driving here today is a 2021. It is the 40 engine, not the 45 with a little bit of a spicier tune. The 40 here makes around 201 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque. The 45, the spicier one, will give you 261 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. This 40 is good to 0 to 60 in around 6.1 seconds. The 45 will get you to 60 in around 5.2 seconds, pardon me. But yeah, we'll give this a drive. This is the Premium Plus trim, so kind of the mid-level trim for the A4. The A4 also comes in Premium starting at $41,000 up to the Prestige, which can be optioned north of $51,000. This one that we're testing today sits somewhere in the middle around $46K. Yeah, I guess we can hop out and show you around the car. Got the key in my pocket, so it's going to be beeping at me. So most Audis from the 2020 model year to this model year will look about the same. They've added a few changes to the trim and wheels, like things like that, in the year since then. This Premium Plus 40 comes with these 18-inch alloy wheels that are pretty handsome. I don't think the design of these has really changed since the 2021 model year, so you can expect to find something similar to this in the 2024. Starting at the front here, we have LED headlights as standard. All Audis have this sort of hexagonal grille up front here. I really like it. I think it's handsome. It's the kind of unifying design language that all Audi models have nowadays. I think it helps it stand out from the front here. Going back from the front, we have these nice sort of sharp, aggressive body lines that continue on the belt line and down through the door here. Pardon the mess on the car. It's been raining here in LA. I don't know if you can see the clouds over there, but I didn't get a chance to wash the wife's car here. I kind of lose it with the design once we get towards the back here. The bumper is a little bit kind of anonymous looking. There are some nice kind of creases and body lines there on the lower bumper. We have fake exhaust outlets here. They're plastic. The real exhaust outlets are hidden inside there. There is a nice little lip to the trunk here that gives a sort of spoiler-like effect. Wow, that's really dirty, sorry. Quattro standard on every A4 model starting from the 2020 model year, so expect to get Quattro on yours too. The taillights are nice. They kind of help bring together this sort of blandish back end, but overall the styling is handsome yet conservative. It won't offend anybody with sensible tastes. So not the most striking design in the class here. I think the BMW 3 Series is a little bit sharper looking, but it's definitely more interesting and less conservative than a C-Class. Hopping back inside here, this one is optioned with the black leather interior. Leather standard on all trims. This is going to keep beeping at me unless I get in the car. Yeah, up here in front we've got the black leather. As I mentioned, the seats are electronically adjusted. There's 2 memory settings, and they'll line up with your driver profile here in the 10-inch display, infotainment display cluster there. Yeah, it's got these little thigh supports too that kind of just catch crumbs there, but if your thighs are a little bit longer, it's nice to give you a little bit more support there. There is a moonroof standard. It's got a little shade if you want to close that up. The rear view mirror is not a camera rear view mirror, but it is automatically dimming. Got auto high beams, got rear fog lights. Here in the center is the Audi, what do they call it, virtual cockpit display. This is standard on the Premium Plus trim and up. With the Prestige trim, you also have this virtual cockpit, but it adds the enhanced MMI navigation, so you can show your map there in the gauge cluster. We don't have that here on this Premium Plus trim, but that's just fine. Most people are going to be using Apple CarPlay anyway instead of the Audi built-in navigation. Yeah, this one is got the Bang & Olufsen sound system. It sounds pretty good. I don't have any royalty-free music to show you right now. If you step up to the Prestige trim, it also adds a little heads-up display here. Yeah, I forgot to mention the seats are heated as standard on all trims, but if you want ventilated seats, you need to add the warm weather package. The warm weather package is standard on the Prestige trim, but an option here on the Premium Plus and lower. All right, I guess we'll show you the back seats. Legroom is pretty standard and on par with the rest of the class here. There's supposed to be 35.7 inches of legroom. With the seat adjusted to my height, I'm only 5'7". I have plenty of legroom here. But if you're any taller than me and you have longer legs than me, this might be a little cramped back here, especially if you have a taller driver in this seat or a taller passenger in that seat. The headliner in this model is black. That's part of the S-Line package. Sorry, got a lot of ums today. Yeah, the legroom's not too bad, like I mentioned, for myself with a kind of shorter height. There is a good bit of headroom. It's like I said, it's on par with the rest of the class. The 3 Series and the C Class pretty much have identical legroom and headroom to the A4 here. Shoulder room is a little bit tighter with the A4 compared to the 3 Series and the C Class. From experience, fitting 3 people in the back here is a little tight. You're not going to have a great time. There is a little hump here in the middle for the middle passenger, so you're going to have to stick your feet under the driver in the passenger seat there. So not super comfortable with 3 in the back, but 2 adults in the back, no problem. 3 in a pinch is fine. I guess I could show you the trunk space as well. Everything about this car is pretty much just on par with the rest of the class. Good bit of storage space. You could probably fit 3 or 4 roller bags back there, maybe 2 or 3 sets of golf clubs. I have some groceries in there right now. It is not automatic on this trim here. I'm not sure if that's an option, but not a big deal there. Yeah, it's really mad at me without having that key in the car. Okay, coming back to the driver's seat here, you got the 10-inch infotainment display. Down here you have your drive selector. There is comfort, auto, dynamic, and individual. Individual lets you kind of customize every one of the settings. We'll start today in the comfort setting. So the comfort setting is supposed to dial back the throttle response, make the steering a little bit lighter. There is no adaptive dampener. Pardon me, the suspension in this car doesn't have adaptive dampers, but it's well tuned. Not too hard and not too soft. We'll get out there and drive, and I'll show you when we go over some speed bumps. It soaks those up pretty well. Coming back to the infotainment here, there's a lot of different pages and options. I won't go through all of them for you. What most people will use most of the time is just Apple CarPlay here, but there is built-in navigation. There's just regular Bluetooth audio streaming. You can set up some favorites for things you like to frequently access in the car. All right, well, I guess let's just get out on the road and give you some driving impressions here. I needed to take the wife's car to get some gas, so that was the prompt for doing this video and strapping the camera to my face, but without further ado, let's get going. I'll get out of this parking garage and we'll rejoin then. So going through the parking garage here in Comfort, the creep is pretty slow, so you're gonna have to use a little bit of throttle when you're getting around parking garages, which is fine. But steering's nice and light, easy to turn and get around these parking lots without too much effort. I didn't really show the display cluster here, but it's very configurable. You were not paying attention at all, were you? Okay, we're almost out of this parking garage, and then we'll get back to driving impressions. Well, that's awkward. This exit is closed, I guess. I guess I'm going up again. Alright, after much ado, we're out of that parking garage. I wasn't expecting that to be so difficult to get out of there. Alright, so we're just putzing around in Comfort right now. We're going to get back to some faster roads, but first I wanted to see how this feels kind of at low speed. I say that like I haven't driven this car many times before. The auto start stop in this car is you're able to turn it off. It's not always on by default, but when it is on, that's what the mild hybrid system is for. It's supposed to blend in the starting and stopping a little bit better than just having the gas engine stop and just restart up abruptly. I'll turn it back on for now. Oh, it was on already. See, I didn't even notice when it was on, but so it is on automatically all the time. You can turn it off with a little button right there. But I'll leave it on for now. So still here in Comfort, steering's really light. Throttle response is a little bit slow. It does, the transmission is, I forgot to mention, it's a 7-speed dual clutch transmission in every trim of the A4. When you're in Comfort, it tends to shift up really quickly, like granny shifting. It's trying to save gas and make for a slightly smoother ride without the kind of jerky, abrupt upshifts that you might get when you're trying to be driving a little bit more spirited. Okay, a little test for the suspension here going over the speed bumps. I barely even feel them compared to when I drive my own car, which is a Tesla Model 3. The suspension in the Model 3 is really kind of lacking. It needs to be really stiff to support all the weight that comes with that battery electric vehicle, but it's not tuned like a German car is, I guess, the nicest way to put it. So in the Model 3, the suspension's just kind of stiff for no good reason. It doesn't really help out with handling or NVH or anything in the end, really. It's just kind of stiff to keep the batteries up there. Alright, let's turn it into dynamic for this turn coming up. Oh, I immediately feel the throttle response get sharper, and it was holding those gears for a longer period of time, and it puts us in the S dynamic mode. Alright, we're at a full stop here. Okay, you blew through your light. Oh, pretty peppy. That feels like it's about 6.3 seconds. I don't know. When it's in Comfort, it certainly gets out of its own way too. It doesn't really limit the power when you're in Comfort mode. If you put it all the way down, it's going to give you everything, but it's not as aggressive as Sport mode here. I personally like the turn signal sound in Audis. It sounds good. Alright, green light, let's go. It's holding the revs. upshifted there because I wasn't a fan of that. See, there it goes. It'll automatically upshift for you, but it lets you get pretty high up in the revs, but it doesn't let you just hang there. Switch it back into auto. Alright, another green light here. This isn't really a swift turn, but one thing to note for the handling dynamics, kind of with any Audi, is they sort of have a tendency to understeer a little bit. That comes with the territory of a front-wheel drive biased all-wheel drive system, and it's also a quirk of Audis in that they like to mount the engines pretty far forward in the engine bay, almost in front of the front axle. So that doesn't really help out with the dynamics too much when you're trying to push it through corners. It leads to that understeer. Just overall pretty good dynamically. It's lacking a little bit from the rear wheel drive based competitors, but it's certainly a nice ride. You do kind of feel that it is a nut badge Jetta a little bit, but dynamically it's solid. It's not offensive. Gets you where you want to go pretty quickly. Soaks up the bumps in the road nice. Handles pretty well despite that understeer. Yeah, overall it's a really good package for somebody looking for a kind of compact luxury sedan in that starting segment there. You can tell that they put a lot of work into tuning the body and suspension of this car compared to its VW sibling.